Spread innovative insights.
Stretch knowledge boundaries.
Welcome to CityU MBA Shop Forum, where business frontier unfolds.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jacqueline, an MBA Year 2 student.
My name is Andrew, also an MBA Year 2 student. We are honored to host the forum, Esports Ecosystem and Trend, win the tournament in business arenas. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Andrew, I noticed that esports has become more and more popular, and it is one of the fastest growing industry around the world. There are numerous international multiplayer video game competitions for professional players, and also esports are also filling the gap in real sporting events like Olympic Games.
That's true, Jacqueline. The sponsors definitely made competitive gaming a lucrative career choice. Game developers also realized the potential of esports, leading to higher profit, better view rate, and higher production values.
Right, and that's explain why live streaming has started to become increasingly popular through platforms like Twitch and YouTube, which allows gamers across the world to bring in steady incomes by attracting spectators to watch their favorite digital athletes compete with each other.
Exactly. In fact, Hong Kong government has actually supported the development of the esports industry and started to promote it since the early 2010s, including providing esports favorite venues, organizing esports conferences, and nurturing talents for the esports industry. Actually, there's a esports stadium open in Tsim Sha Tsui earlier this year. Have you been there yet?
No, I haven't got the chance yet. But I know that it is the first esports stadium in Hong Kong that the Asia Motion Esports Association presented. It seems like the Hong Kong government is prepared to promote esports as a mainstream sport by building awareness in the society.
I think so. Today, we will explore the benefits of the esports and gaming in general, and particularly from the business perspective and the potential development of esports in Hong Kong and also the global market.
To learn more about the esports ecosystem and how it will further grow in Hong Kong, let's not wait any longer and invite our speaker for the sharing.
Our first speaker of tonight is an expert from Cyberport. He has over 18 years of extensive experience in business development, administration, and marketing across various business areas, including but not limited to esports and the digital entertainment industry. He's now in charge of Cyberport's public mission in promoting esports development as well as nurturing youth in digital technology.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Terence Leung.
Sure, Cyberport is actually a digital tech hub in Hong Kong and also of the region. So we know that the digital world is so big. There are many things we can do, but we don't need to do everything. We just need to pick some focuses to work on. So we form some sort of strategic cluster. Actually, right now we have 6 strategic clusters in Cyberport. One is fintech, smart living, smart city, and also digital entertainment / esports. These 3 are on the application level. And we also have some technological levels clusters, namely AI, big data, blockchain, and cybersecurity. That's why I'm here to talk about digital entertainment and esports. Okay, before I go deeper, what actually esports is? I like this diagram very much because it's so descriptive. It easily can tell what esports is. Actually, team plays games organized in leagues and tournament formats and distribute on platforms to audience. This is the esports ecosystem and also the related stakeholders. We call it industry value chain. This diagram looks complicated, but it's easy to understand when you look at the 4 major components, including software, hardware, and also competitions and events, and also the streaming media. Around these 4 core components, there are actually many stakeholders, including the industry associations, and also the government, the investors, accelerators, the game studios, the software house, and also the telecoms, the entertainment platform, and also the academia, parents, teachers, and also training institutions, and also NGOs. These are the stakeholders relevant to the eSport ecosystem. Let's look at the eSport global market size. We're talking about 2.5 billion people playing video games in the world, and 450 million people are eSport viewers. 70% of them, of the gamers, are males. 70% of the gamers are millennials and Gen Z. This diagram talks about the eSport market growth in terms of revenue growth and also audience growth. In 2019, the current position is at 1.1 billion revenue. But by 2022, it's forecast the revenue will rise to 1.8 billion US dollar. The eSport audience growth right now is around 450 million. But by 2022, it will rise to around 650 million people watching eSport games. Sometimes we say that the number of people watching eSport games isn't higher than the number of people watching traditional sport games. These are the snapshots of local eSport industry. In Hong Kong, we have eSport events. In the past few years, we have organized a few impactful eSport events. We also have venues, arenas here. We also have professional clubs to raise the eSport teams. We have eSport platforms. These platforms allows the amateur players and professional players to organize their own games with their friends to play with. There are also eSport media covering the news of local markets and also the global markets. And there are also eSport education offered by the tertiary institutions. This is how Cyberport is going to support the eSport industry to develop. We have three major components. One is competitions. The other one is technology and also talent cultivation. For competitions, we'd like to increase the frequency and also the impact of the competitions, making it like a mainstream sport event. We need to host some sort of international eSport events, like any other sports games. So over the past few years, we have actually organized this kind of international events. They're all well received. In Cyberport, we have our dedicated eSport venues. Last year, we converted our shopping mall into a dedicated eSport venues. There we provide professional-grade facilities, audio, visual system, lighting system, panels, and also stage equipment. We also can support live streaming of events. Of course, we provide high-speed, low-latency network there. This arena can host events around several hundred participants, mainly the small to medium-sized events here. Our venues have supported some competitions and events last year, like professional grade, semi-professional grade, and also amateur level eSport events. On technology side, we promote the application of eSport technology and also the innovation. For talent cultivation, we promote eSport as a profession and also promote the entrepreneurship behind. Talent cultivation, entrepreneurial support. Cyberport actually has comprehensive entrepreneurial support. We have different kinds of programs to help people to start up their own business. We have Cyberport Creative Microfund and also the Cyberport Incubation Program. Actually, we can help start off at different stages with funding support and also a lot of business support. This slide shows you the number of the size of digital entertainment eSport cluster. Right now, we have around 140 community members. Roughly speaking, they can be classified as publisher, content, platform. Actually, we have much more than many more categories. Three examples here: VAR Live, CAPSL, and Godspeed. Coincidentally, they are all here tonight, and I will leave them to share with you their own story later. Talent cultivation, as what I have said, we support the local tertiary institutions to organize their own eSport events. For example, Hong Kong U Space, they launched their part-time diploma and also full-time diploma programs. The Open U, they launched their bachelor program. We provide funding support to support this kind of tertiary institutions. We offer to confer the scholarship for this institutions to appreciate the students. We also subsidize the employers to offer some jobs, some internship. Industry development. We have this Cyberport flagship event. We call it Digital Entertainment Leadership Forum, DELF. Last year, we launched our eSport arena through this event. This event actually is a platform to connect the global thought leaders, the experts, the professionals to Hong Kong to network with our local industry people. These events can foster the business exchange and also develop a lot of network for them. This event also is for the public. The general public can attend this event to have a taste of eSport. We also support the industry people to go overseas. They have business exchange and development activities there. For example, last year we supported two eSport teams to join a boot camp in Korea, organized by the Korean eSport Association. We also supported the local companies to join local and also overseas exhibitions. I'm now trying to look at the sustainable eSport ecosystem with you. I would like to introduce a concept called eSportification, eSportify. Okay, it's all about how the commercial brands reach their target audience. It can be their means or ends. The eSport company use eSport as their ends. They train the talents, send them to competitions to earn some prize money. But for the brands, particularly those non-endemic brands, they make use of eSports to reach their target audience of different genders, different types, different ages. These are some examples of the global reputed enterprise. They have actually sponsored eSport competitions before. By category, we have F&B, technology, communications, automobile, media. These two are more concrete examples of eSport sponsorship. For example, MasterCard, a kind of a non-endemic brand, they sponsor the famous League of Legends games, the series of competitions, and also Acer, an endemic brand, they sponsor another famous LOL competitions. Some examples, you see target audience like elderly, ladies, crossover of apparels, automobile. Even the public utility, they make use of the eSport events to reach their target audience. There are also licensed merchandise. You see shopping mall organize eSport activities. Hotel, they evaluate as eSport type hotel. Okay, eSport as a profession. This the number of mainland China. in mainland China, there are around 100,000 professional esports contenders. This means that esports is a true career in mainland China. In Hong Kong, we also see a lot of different kind of esports occupation. The small photo there is Hong Kong famous caster. He can earn quite a good living. Okay, this shows you the substantial prize money of esports tournaments. The top 3 contenders, each of them, they are earning USD 6 million a year. The top 5 prize pool, the total number is around USD 550 million in total. Esports education and qualifications. As what I've said, some tertiary institutions, they have been launching the professional esports programs. Actually, these programs are meeting the requirements of the Hong Kong government's qualifications framework. And we also see some professional referee programs will be launched in the market later. Okay, talking about innovation technology. Cloud gaming is the upcoming trend. 5G, needless to say, 5G is so popular right now, and this will give another next level entertainment experience because of low latency and also the high speed. Cybersecurity is so important because of the popularity of digital access. Okay, we predict mobile esports will be a very important trend. This famous game in China, owned by Tencent, Honor of Kings, you see the stock price skyrocket because of the popularity of this mobile esports game. The famous game vendors, Riot Games, they have just launched new mobile games under the same umbrella, League of Legends. Okay, digital entertainment technology. You see the news reporter, real person versus AI. You can identify which person is the real person, actually. Extended reality, AR, VR, MR is going to be very important in the digital entertainment arena and also in the area of education, something like that. Blockchain will be also revolutionize tools to the market. With blockchains, it offers decentralized ecosystem, ownership and exchange, secure payment, and also reliable payment platform. Many blockchain games are coming. Okay, this is a snapshot of the upcoming trends of the digital entertainment technology. I have no time to go into go deeper one by one, but it gives you an impression what we can do around these technologies. Before I end my presentation, I'm going to promote an event. This is the Delve 2020. It will be hosted virtually on 11th and 12th of December. So with this QR code, you can register online. It's free of charge, but we will have a lot of funny things at this event. We have invited many great speakers, and also we have a lot of online gaming organized there. So hope to see you there. Thanks for tonight. That's all for my tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Terence, so much for your sharing on the technology and sustainability on the esports ecosystem.
Our next speaker is from the Hong Kong Esports Association. He has led the Hong Kong Esports Asian Game delegations to the demonstration sites to visit the events and explore the developments of the industry with local esports institutions. With his dedication to promoting the developments of Hong Kong's esports industry, we are very honored to invite him to share more his experience to us.
Please welcome our next speaker, Mr. Eric Yeung, President of Hong Kong Esports Association.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and friends from online. Nice to meet you all here, and it's really my pleasure and honor to share you more about the esports in Hong Kong, especially after Terence sharing, because I think he pretty much gives us a very holistic view of the esports industry, not only in Hong Kong, but also worldwide. But for me, I think let me share more story and more about the esports industry and the opportunity in Hong Kong as well. Okay, so I'm from Esports Association Hong Kong, and we are a non-profitable organization founded 5 years ago, since 2015. And I think that this is really amazing timing, because I still remember 5 years ago when I first talked to many different people, and even our senior government official, I told them, oh, we are going to found a new association and going to promote this emerging industry, not only industry, but also that would be a golden opportunity for the youth as well, okay? So, I still remember at that time, I tried to persuade them, and we are going to have this organization. I try to do more advocacy and to try to do it right in Hong Kong as well. And so we are really pressured that in 2016, I remember the first policy address to mention about the esports, and starting then, government has injected 100 million Hong Kong dollars to the Cyberport to support the whole industry, and that's why Terence is with us to work together closely as well. And of course, not only talking about the government support, but from the industrial perspective, the first eSport festival is organized in 2015 as well, for consecutive 5 years, and we have attracted millions of people to come. And I think one of the very, very key milestone for us to remember in the Hong Kong esports industry is in 2015. Actually, Terence is with me as well. We go to Jakarta together to participate in the Asian Olympic Game. And I wonder you guys remember that is really amazing for an e-sport, which is a very, very new kind of sports, and to participate in such an international, and I would say it this way, a traditional sport, Olympic sport game. And I wonder you guys know that is really not an easy task for us, because by that time, I would say in this way, by now, still Hong Kong is not yet recognized e-sport as an official sport. So it is really a headache for us to how to pick our Hong Kong representative, how to do this kind of process, to select the players to participate in such Asian game. But by the help of Cyberport and our association together, we have to do this kind of different kind of competition, and to select more than 20 players to represent Hong Kong to participate in the Asian game. And some of very interesting figure I wanted to share with you as well. What Terence have mentioned in his slides also talk about the viewership of the esports. And I have a figure from the insider which haven't announced it in any publication for the Asian game. I wonder you guys know that the most popular games, single sports in Asian game is actually the basketball. Okay, they have around 8 million people watch simultaneously online for the final match. Okay, for their games. However, for eSport, we have a final match for the LOL, which is the competition between the Korean and China. And I wonder you guys know that how many people watching online? It is actually 56 million people. Okay, almost 7 times of the best of the best traditional sports. You can see that basically the e-sport, the viewership of e-sports really do help the traditional sport to convert themselves and attract much more youth and youngster to join to watch, at least to participate in this Olympic game. And I think actually that's happened to a lot of traditional sport games as well, the aging issue, but you can see that eSport really can help in this case. And it's really a pleasure and honor to have the first gold medal in the Asian game for our Hong Kong representative. This guy, Keen, actually he won his first and actually the world's first Asian eSport gold medal for one of the game. And I wonder, actually not much people in Hong Kong recognize that we have the gold medal player in eSport in the Asian game. And that proved that Hong Kong player actually is very talented. And we have a lot of opportunity to explore in this area as well. And of course, apart from that, our association also helped organize a lot of events to promote and actually to promote the anti-addictive of the game as well. Because let me share you one more story. I still remember the night before we depart to the Jakarta for the Asian game. One of our youngest player tell me a story about his own story, actually, which is one of the youngest, is around 16 or 17 years old by the time. And he told me that his parents is actually very, really don't support him and don't like him to play so many TV games, I think, which is very understandable. And many parents is really biased. Actually, not talking about the other family. Even my wife don't support my kids to play too much TV. That is totally understandable. And when the young people, the young guy told his mother that he is going to represent Hong Kong to participate in the Asian game, his parents still think that he is a liar. Don't believe in him at all. Not until afterward he saw our news on the newspaper and seeing his son wearing the Hong Kong team jersey with the Hong Kong SAR logo, the logo on his shirt, and he tried to start to believe it. And before he go to the Jakarta and trying to ask him, how can I view your competition online using the Twitch? Because they don't know how to watch it and they don't know how to participate. But you can see that their parents think that this kind of opportunity help his kids to really to change his, basically change his life and help him to really to find his own value as well. And so actually what we are doing in many community in Hong Kong is not, actually we don't need to do any promotion for the esports industry, but rather we try to tell the citizen and tell the parents how we could lead the kids to the right track and how to participate in the esports industry in the right manner. And I think that's what we need to work really hard. And of course, by this year, everyone knows that there's pandemic, and everyone knows that that's really not easy for the esports industry. I think which is really toughest year of the esports industry. I suppose that all speakers will agree with me as well. And all of the competition have to go online in this case. And this year, we still try to organize the first esports Premier League in Hong Kong, and with close to 500,000 Hong Kong dollars prize pool to help to promote the esports in Hong Kong. But we still have to organize all the competition online, and which this competition will help us to select the future player to represent Hong Kong in all kind of international competition as well. And you can see that actually Hong Kong do have a lot of competitive advantage for the esports industry. First of all, Hong Kong is really an amazing place that we are East, Mid, West, we call. And we have a lot of global exhibition and many international sports games in Hong Kong, like the marathon, like the Rugby 7, and we have a lot of great games in Hong Kong organized. And although we all know that this year may be a very special year, but we're looking forward to the future. We believe that it will come back again. And we have a very, very favorable market factors. First of all, we have an amazing mobile penetration. We have a very good broadband access. We have a very huge gaming market with very nice revenue in the gaming market. Every youth in Hong Kong play the games, play video games, and they spend really a lot in this as well. And we are also riding on the growth of the Asian esports markets. Well, I think suppose that all you guys must heard of that. And China is really one of the very biggest country in the esport industry. And you guys must know that we could be probably be a piggyback in the rise of the Asian esport as well. And the popularity of social games in Hong Kong as well. And you can see that many different kind of social game could be the title of some esport competition, especially when we are organizing those esport competition for the amateur, for those non-professional competition. That would be a some great selection for the game as well. And also, one of the very important points is, compared to the market in China, we have no censorship on foreign games, and we have no censorship for organizing competition as well. You're free. Anyone could organize any competition in any time. And I think which is very different from some countries. And you know that would give us the very high flexibility for us to different event committee to organize different kind of events for attracting different sponsorship as well. And last but not least, we have lots of support from governments. I think Hong Kong is one of the very, very few country or places that government did invest money to support us to organize event. Of course, one of the program is hosted by the Cyberport. I suppose that if in the Q&A part, maybe Terence could mention more, which is our esports facilitation program, which could give you up to $500,000 for organizing different esports event, depends on your scale. And I think which is very special in Hong Kong as well. I never heard any place else like Hong Kong, government will give you cash incentive or cash support for you to organize esports events for any company, okay? So, I think one of the very great examples for Hong Kong that we are in the golden opportunity to organize the mega event is the Esports Music and Hong Kong Esports and Music Festival. The first time we have this mega event is 2017. And I wonder you guys know that although the venue only allow us to host not more than 5,000 people per night. However, for the online watching viewer, it's more than 7 million people for that single event. And you can see that actually that is really amazing. And I think that never happened in any kind of similar event in Hong Kong actually. And I think that would be another great milestone for Hong Kong, that we are really in position for organizing such an international and such a big event in Hong Kong. And let me show you one more point is, actually the qualifying game of Asian game actually organized in Hong Kong as well. One of the very key reasons is they organize in Hong Kong is, first of all, is the geographical location of Hong Kong is really convenient. But also, in Hong Kong, basically, they don't require any visa for any country. Basically, for most of the country that visit Hong Kong, they don't need any special visa. And I think so that make Hong Kong to be a very special and easy place for organizing such international competition. And you can see that in future, I think we have a lot of opportunity, apart from organizing this kind of online, physical event in Hong Kong. But you may notice that since this year, the International Football Association, which is the FIFA, we call it, is trying to organize, has started to organize the FIFA-E. Not EFFA. At first I thought that is EFFA, but no, they call it FIFA-E World Cup. It is actually the competition among the FIFA games for the competition. And I think that really will be another opportunity for us to catch as well. As I know that the Hong Kong Football Association is starting to organize this kind of event as well. And then last but not least, I think one of the very major trends is actually I've declared my interest because I will invest in one of this kind of game company as well, which is the VR esport. I think would be another golden opportunity as well, because the VR esport not only requires you the responsiveness of general video game as well, but also you need the coordination of your body and your whole body as well as your focus. So I believe that this kind of VR esport will be another trend, a major trend in the future esport market. So before my end of presentation, let me share you some video clip for some VR esport competition as well. I think you all must have heard of traditional esport, but for this kind of VR esport will be very different because they require the people physically movement as well as they have not only focusing but also they have to move around as well. Oops, we can easily see that would be a technical problem. Never mind. So you can see that people looks very charming, especially wearing the VR glasses. You cannot see his eyes. And you can see that this kind of competition would attract another kind of audience, because you can see that people are not only focusing using the keyboard and mouse, but also they really have to perform themselves physically. Okay, so I believe that would be another kind of trend in esports industry as well. Okay, so thank you very much for your time, and that's my end of sharing. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric, for your sharing the opportunities and challenges of esports in Hong Kong.
Our next guest speaker has actually started his career as a race driver. With his knowledge of engineering, he was heavily involved in development and race engineering over the years. Later on, he has been involved in the digital entertainment industry and co-founded an esports company, Godspeed, with his partners, aiming to become a major international game developer in Hong Kong. So, how does he see esports as an opportunity to develop the racing sports further?
Please give a warm welcome to Mr. Tristan Leung.
Hello, everybody. We don't have too many guests here today, but everybody's watching online. So I'm Tristan. So I'll go over a little bit because we don't have too much time. I'll go over like the MC already said. My career path was a little bit different from most of the entrepreneurs. I was a racing driver before, and then I lived in several different countries, and before I came back to Hong Kong. So I was using that as a racing driver. I learned a lot of. I worked with car manufacturers and racing team, and then gained a lot of technical knowledge. And then so when I came back to Hong Kong, I saw a lot of opportunity in esports. Back when I was living in another country, I was thinking Hong Kong doesn't have a racetrack. So when you develop a racing game in Hong Kong, that would be a little bit not very logical, because I was thinking Hong Kong people, when they play a racing game, they are not that good because we don't have a racetrack. But when I came back to Hong Kong, everything surprised me. I was doing a lot of research, and there's a lot of opportunity. So I would like to go over my topic. I like esports, like two of the keywords I like to specially mention. It's very accessible, and it is for everybody. So the beauty of the virtual world is letting us do things that we may not be able to afford or we cannot do in real life. So this is what digital entertainment about in recent years. And esports actually make some of the most expensive sport, for example, racing, and then like not just car racing, there's horse racing, snowboarding, a lot of more expensive sport, they become accessible for everybody. So when we look at esports, we need to talk a little bit about game development, because that is the core of esports. Basically, that is the content of esports. So when we look at back in the late 70s, actually, this is a game in Apple II. So you see it's a flight simulator. So you can see the graphics is very plain, they're just line, but you think it's actually quite realistic because it actually looks like a radar when you are flying, and then it looked like an infrared scan of the radar. But that is how the first flight simulator game is. But everybody saw how the flight simulator game is right now. So the technology is advancing, developing. So this is a 1989 racing game. So that is all, they were already calling it a simulation. So it's not just video game. From very, very long time ago, when we have computer, a lot of developers, they already trying to do something that is simulate the real world. So it's not just a game, it's a little bit more than a game. So people can train and people can learn a lot of knowledge playing their games. And right now, this is how it is. So you see that picture, there's some strategy game. And this is the Godspeed, our simulator. This is how the driving game is right now. And then there is like a football game, and there are some more strategy game. And then basically what I like to say is our technology actually evolved so much that the training simulation and entertainment is becoming very blurry. So we can play a game to train ourselves for real sport and not just entertainment. So that is also one of the key points we can tell all parents in Hong Kong, because when you play games, it's not just a game. It can be connected to real sport. And then, of course, when you're training for real sport, you're not going to get addicted. So there are a couple key points that, for example, like Esports, they would require like quick reactions, fast thinking, quick and precise actions, and body coordinations. But the difference is Esports is less physical demanding than most of the traditional sport. That's why it's more accessible for everybody. But if you see the first 4 points, they are actually same. Very similar. So if you want to be good at esports, the players, and then if you are trying to run a training school, you have to train them like athletes. You can train them like addicted gamers. That is the wrong way. So actually, like for example, for example, like if you see this, like Hong Kong actually have some very great potential players, esports players. 個 deck 錯咗，其實個 deck 錯咗。係啊，唔係新 deck 嚟嘅，呢個舊 deck 嚟嘅。繼續係啦。Yeah, actually, we saw a lot of like I mentioned, I actually when I came back to Hong Kong, I saw a lot of like great talents in esports. So, for example, like we have some cases actually that is like a couple years ago. They went to no? Oh, live program. Okay. Okay. And so basically, what we saw is we saw a lot of like successful case, and it's very surprising. Some of the Hong Kong gamers, they actually got to top level. They got like for example, like what we specialize in racing game, and then we saw some top level players, and then they actually got to some world tour ran by game developers, and they got to some like very high level, high standard competitions. And for example, this guy called it Jonathan, and then he actually he played another racing game, and then he actually representing Hong Kong, and then he went to the world tour earlier this year in Sydney, and then he ended up being third, so closely behind Australia and Japan. And then he was selected in the World Fastest Gamer last year. There's an event that the top 10 drivers of the world would be selected to go to Las Vegas. And then one of the contenders is actually from Hong Kong. So also there are some other cases. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And also there are some other cases you see that basically Hong Kong, some players, they are doing very well when playing in international competitions. Next page. That's this one we already mentioned. Some of the Hong Kong gamers, they are very good when they actually go to international competitions. And then, this is some sharing. This is what we did in 2020. And actually, like for example, we actually put together a team because of the pandemic, because a lot of offline events are cancelled. So we actually put together a team to compete in some international event. And we actually do quite well, thanks to the Hong Kong esports talent. And then also, even before like 2020, so this is a case date back to 2016. There's a driver. There's actually he was a gamer and then he turned it into a professional driver. His name is also from Hong Kong, and then now he's racing professionally. So a lot of people thought when I like 4 or 5 years ago when I talked to them, a lot of parents, a lot of people, they would laugh, saying, "Oh, it's a gamer, so they can never drive a real car." So real racing is different. So then after his successful case, right now, this couple years, and then also we did a lot of programs training young talent, and the situation actually got improved. So basically, we need to actually tell the people esports right now, because of the technologies, is already evolving, and it's not just entertainment. Can we have next page? Next page. Yeah. And also like the previous speaker already talked about, there are a lot of competition event in Hong Kong, and then I would like to share a little bit. Like for example, like when you do a competition, the most important thing is basically you need sponsor, because without sponsors, none of the event will happen. So if you are all the students here, you are interested in the esports industry, or actually running a competition, or maybe you graduate, work for a corporate, and then they want to sponsor an esports event. So sponsor is actually the most important for an event, so they will fund the event. And then, and the tip I like to share, the organizer need to know the game very well, because there are a lot of games in esports. There are all kind of possibilities, and if the organizer has to learn the game first and know the trend to do a successful esports event. And then also like actually, like when we look at like a lot of events, like for example the EMF, something like Cyberport did, and then also we did a lot of event in shopping centers, shopping malls. It's actually a lot of customer, they would think, oh, it's a video game event. They are not too expensive, but the real stories is actually different. So to actually have a successful event is actually very similar to doing a concert, high-level concert. Like for example, you find a pop singer, and then if you it include a lot of production, a lot of decoration, a lot of design. And then also, most of the event right now, they are doing live streaming. And then there are a lot of technical position that can be offered to a lot of the people in the industry. Like for example, this year, like COVID-19, a lot of like people working on a concert, a lot of people working on show, they are not getting their job, they're not getting their projects done because they cannot have like a gathering and then they cannot have a concert. But those people actually can also do something online. So there was some online concert, but the technologies is exactly like what we do in esports live streaming. So to be able to successfully run a good event, you need to put in a lot of effort. And that's, well, that's about all I can share today. And thank you.
Thank you to Tristan for sharing your experience.
Esport is also about connecting people. An esport company, CAPSL, has developed an amazing app called Bash, the world's first mobile-only esport platform, where anyone can compete, create and discover tournaments across thousands of mobile games. We are very honored to have CAPSL's Head of Business Development and Partnership to share his inspiration in connecting people with esports.
Let's give a warm round of applause to Mr. Alwin Wong.
Hello, everyone. Those of you who are online, hello. So my name is Alwin. I'm going to talk about our esports platform and also the esports ecosystem as a whole. Actually, Terence has already gone through a little bit, but I will drill a little bit more into it about the partnerships of each category. Okay, so a little bit more about myself. I spent 10 years in the mobile gaming industry, focusing in business development, live operation, marketing. And the fun fact is I'm a legendary ranked Call of Duty mobile player. I beat 97% of the players in the whole game. Just super competitive, and that's what esports is about. It's about competition, just like traditional sports. So this has already been gone through. 500 million esports fans in the world, predominantly 15 to 25 years old Gen Z. A fun fact about them is they actually 2/3 of them consume content on their phones, not on TV. And then the platforms that they go to is different from, traditional TV station. They go to like Netflix, Twitch, Huya, Facebook Gaming, etc. Depending on who they're watching. And they spend actually 30% more time watching esports content than they actually watch traditional sports. So all these fans, they're all focusing on gaming, right? And they don't actually all play games. It's found that around 60% of them, they only watch games and instead of playing them because they enjoy watching people who better than them than actually playing the actual game. Just like why most people watch the MBA, watch the World Cup, etc., because they want to watch people who are actually much better than they are. So in one strat, this is the esports ecosystem. Very similar to what Terence shared. Not going to go but I'll drill down into this one by one. So the game developer and the publisher, they're actually the core of the whole esports ecosystem. Because without these developers and publisher, you don't have a game to play. You don't have esports. And they also know that. So that's why developers and publishers of these games are often the biggest competition organizer, because a bigger competition means that it's more players will participate in it, more teams will participate in it, and more audience. And that drives the whole ecosystem because all opportunities happen when you have a popular game. So some of the biggest games are definitely League of Legends and PUBG. And I'll revolve around this a lot. So what about smaller tournament organizers, right, who are not as big as the game developer, what do they do, and how do they monetize? Yeah, this is an old deck, by the way. So there are a lot of different third-party organizers who who organize third-party tournaments that allows people like you and I, regular people, to participate in. So this is also what we do. Our app is called Bash. It's where anyone who wants to create a tournament or host a tournament or participate in a mobile sports tournament, they can use our app, and then they play whatever game they want to play, and then they can decide who's the winner. So for example, CityU decides to host a tournament and see who's the best PUBG player. They can go through that via our platform. And so how do these organizers monetize, right? What kind of partnerships takes place? So these organizers, what they do is they partner up with the game developer most of the times. And game developers are very supportive in this way because the more third-party tournaments that happens revolving around their game, then that means that there will be more people focusing on their game, and it's kind of like a free promotion for these organizers, for these developers, because people are very interested into winning the prize pool, and then also getting the attraction from sponsorship, and then they benefit from that because there's a lot of hype going on around their game. And so organizers, when they organize tournaments, etc., they have a lot of opportunities. Besides from getting some love from the developer, they also have sponsors, like Tristan mentioned. Without sponsors, tournaments are very tough because then organizers want to self-fund these tournaments. And then also, these players, when they participate in a tournament, they look forward to the prize pool, right? And where does this come from? This comes directly from the sponsors as well. And then one way for these organizers to monetize in a pre-pandemic world, they can monetize via tickets, merchandise, as an offline event. When it goes to an online event, the broadcasting rights is some of the most, I guess, luscious way to monetize an event. Platforms often fight for exclusive rights to just have the publishing rights for these events. So who are they? Globally, there are platforms like Facebook, YouTube, and then Twitch. They often fight for like exclusive rights to broadcast a game, broadcast a huge tournament. I believe there were billions of dollars each year revolving around publishing these tournaments exclusively on the platform. And then on a regional scale, there are platforms like Douyu, Huya, and Nemo TV, and there's hundreds and hundreds more, depending on different areas of the world. And then for teams as well, actually, if a team wants to participate professionally in a tournament, they have to pay a very, very expensive entry fee. For example, in League of Legends, the top league in League of Legends, you need around $30 million US per year if you want to host your team on the league. Compare that to the MBA, it's actually nothing because for an MBA team to be listed in the league, it's around $2 billion. But however, in terms of viewership, esports is much more efficient in that way because in the last global championship for League of Legends, there were 44 million concurrent viewers at one point. Whereas for the NBA finals for the same year was averaging around 20.5 million. So as you can see, the time has changed. People are actually much more interested in esports, the younger generation, than they are in traditional sports. And I think that trend will only continue as our technology advances. So all these competitions that I was mentioning, right, and all these sponsorship opportunities that I was mentioning, so how does that happen, right? How does these partnerships take place? So for teams, it's actually very, very direct and very simple because teams has the most asset. They have the players, and each player would stream on a daily basis, and then when they stream, like you're watching right now, you have this overlay that you see, and then all these sponsors will show up on the overlay. And then these pro players, they wear a jersey, and then these jerseys then further become like a merch that they sell online. So for example, this team here is called Team Liquid, right? And they work with Disney to partner up and have like an Avengers jersey. And it sold out, it was really, really quickly. Another great example was LV. They sponsored the League of Legends Championship, and the trophy was made, and the case was made designed by LV. And then a series of in-game and actual fashion product was created. So in-game products were bought by players who are fans of the brand, who wanted really, really unique and high fashion skins for their characters. And then it was really looked down when this was released at the beginning, because people were thinking, how do these kids afford such a high fashion brand like LV, right? However, it was sold out within an hour, right? So these are actually, the esports fans are highly monetizable. You just have to hit them in the right way. So just recapping everything I said, everything goes in the loop. Where organizers create tournaments, and then brand sponsors these tournaments, and then they engage with fans. And at the end of the day, the fans will also engage back with the organizers by participating or watching the tournament. And this is, very, very simple way of explaining the economy to, people who are just into this esports. That's all for me. Trying to keep things simple and easy. If there's any questions, feel free to email me. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Alwin, for your insightful ideas in developing a gaming platform for everyone. And let's also give an applause to all our speakers tonight that have just given such insightful speech on the esports ecosystem and how it helps to connect everyone together.
For the next part of our forum, we will have our panel discussion, in which our speakers will be invited on stage again to talk about the future development of streaming and tournament platforms of esports. While we are still preparing, we would like to invite all of you again to participate in our discussion together by raising your questions to our panel through our Neopod link, which is also located in a different platform. The QR code to our Q&A platform is just located right here on the screen.
Right, we are all set to go. Please give your applause to welcome back all our speakers on stage, Mr. Terence Leung, Mr. Eric Yeung, Mr. Tristan Leung, and Mr. Alwin Wong.
Okay, thank you. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I already saw that quite numbers of questions have been raised on the platform. So let's start the Q&A section, right? Okay, because due to some time schedule change, that I know that we only have 15 minutes for this part, right? So let's be concise and precise, okay? Let's start straight right ahead. I saw that one of the questions is directly to Terence, because you're the first speaker, I suppose. Oh. One of the first questions is, you have mentioned about there is a cluster of AI in this slide. Actually, I'm very interested as well in this as well. That some students may ask us how this AI could work together with the esports industry, and are there any progress for AI supporting industry in Hong Kong right now? I think that definitely Cyberport, we do have some example, right?
All right, for the first question about AI technology. All right, actually, we can look at from the developer side and also the client side, the player side. On the developer side, AI must come with big data. They are a couple. AI is just algorithm. Without data, AI is useless. So when we're talking about the developer side AI technology, is more on the game development. Right now, we saw that a number of applications, a number of tools, they are assisting the game developer to make use of AI in their games. They can analyze the data of the user to understand the habits of the players. They know at which point of time the players exit the games or earn a lot of prize there. With this kind of data, they can improve their game, and also the improvement leads to more profit margin or more engagement with the players. This on the developer side. On the client side, last year I met a startup company together with his potential investor. This young entrepreneur is actually from Stanford, a very talented student there. He actually has been doing a platform for the gamers to share their games with their friends. This is actually a social platform for the gamers. How he make use of AI, he said that when a player play the kind of game like killing someone, which moment do you think is the most attractive? That's the point of time when you kill the enemy. The AI effective to capture the screen and share this particular screen to the platform. So that's the clients from the client side. It's a very interesting application.
Yeah,
and I also heard about some sort of AI robot playing in the games to compete for the players to compete with.
Oh, I hate that part because I used to lose to that kind of robot. They're too strong for the players. and I totally agree with Terence. I think the AI is probably one of the technology that could help, especially in the training and also for some data analytics. And you know that one very interesting story. I also heard that even in traditional sport, the AI could use to help to capture the video for football, for basketball, etc. But I think that kind of usage will be even more popular in that. And I know that in Cyberport we have quite numbers of tech company is focusing in this kind of research and product as well. And stay tuned and let's see what we could do for them. And this is another question from the students too. I think that would go to you two. Any one of you could try to see, because it's asking about some the talent in Hong Kong, about the players, and that is talking about how is the current and future status of the esports talent markets in Hong Kong, and is it a surplus or shortage right now, or whether do you think that they did well in Hong Kong? Yeah.
Okay. Very interesting question. I certainly think there's a lot of esports talents in Hong Kong, but they're not discovered. There are, if you look at the global leaderboard in any game that you play, you would definitely find some top-tier players are actually from Hong Kong. However, they have chosen not to pursue an esports career. And then I think that has probably one or two main reasons. One is they don't know how to get into the industry. One is they don't see it as an industry. So because gaming is it's an entertainment. Ultimately, it's an entertainment. And would someone be, I guess, engaged enough to make that their career? Then that's a different question. And I foresee with the rise of technology and the rise of support here locally in Hong Kong, I think that scene would change.
I see.
I would love to see that scene change. I wish there was a really strong career path for esports 20 years ago, and then I would be maybe a professional player.
I agree with Alwin because I think Hong Kong do have of course, we have a higher average income for everyone. So that seems the income for the esports player is less attractive to the youth in Hong Kong by comparing to the other, like in Southeast Asian country, like even in China. I think less attractive. So even Hong Kong, we do have quite numbers of talent in this area. They seems are not. They may not directly jump into that market as an athlete or as a player. So what do you think, Tristan?
It's actually, we are hoping the situation will change for Hong Kong because we saw a lot of great talents.
Yeah, I know that you know a lot of great talent.
Yeah, actually they're winning some world tour, some worldwide competition. But actually, I have some cases actually signed it by a foreign esports team.
Okay.
So if right now a lot of them, when they want to build a career, they packed it like, for example, go to Korea, go to Taiwan, or maybe go to Europe. But we are hoping like Hong Kong, maybe government give more support and recognize them as an athlete. And then maybe actually make the society accept them as an athlete, and then they are representing Hong Kong and they are winning for Hong Kong. So we are hoping that will change soon.
Yeah, there's a chicken and egg problem because even the eSport itself isn't recognized as an official sport. So how could they be recognized as an official athlete? So, but of course, I think we are all working together to fight for that as well, and I think that could help. We would be able to find more talent to seize the e-sport as the career in future. And also another issue that person I think that in Hong Kong why the talent seems not so much because some of the talents haven't stayed in Hong Kong. They may try to pursue for the professional career in China, in Taiwan, instead of in Hong Kong because we don't have any professional league hosted in Hong Kong. We only have some semi-professional competition or with some prize. Of course, we have prize pool, but not as much as those professional leagues. So I think that's also one of the one reason that why Hong Kong we don't have local esports team. Actually, some Hong Kong brand, but actually they're running their team in China or Taiwan. So I think that is the case in Hong Kong. But I think that Hong Kong still, we have a lot of advantages for different stakeholders instead of only for the team building or the talent because, you know, as Terence have mentioned, we have a lot of module or puzzle or stakeholder in actually for the whole industry. Players is just only one of the puzzle. But I think that we are still good at like the developing games or even organizing some big competition. But instead of we are having a big talent pool, I see that Hong Kong esports still have a lot of opportunity to go. So let me ask any one of you could try to answer. Said, how would you see the future of the esports from your perspective? For me, I've said, of course, from a personal interest, I would say that VR. But don't let me shut up. So let you guys see how you see, especially those VR, those esports trends in Hong Kong. How do you think?
Maybe I'll start first because I already have the mic. Basically, I'm thinking the trend is going to be growing. So definitely growing, and then we're hoping, like for example, there are more talented players. They are taking esports as a career, and then we have more official competitions. So basically, that is very important. Like some previously you guys mentioned about like some big competitions, like some big championship tournament. If we can have them. If we can have them in Hong Kong, so actually the players can stay in Hong Kong and then they can join the big competitions. And also, because like I mentioned, like to actually have a successful competition, we need those stadium, those venue. But those places, actually, it's they also need to be sustainable. So
we are suffering right now.
Yeah, that's the problem. So we also need some local training, so we need a esports culture in Hong Kong, like a whole ecosystem. So when we don't have competition, people can go there and train and then actually make the venue sustainable.
Using esports certification. Yeah. How about Alwin or Terence? What do you think?
I of course see esports is a rising industry, a rising sun. Actually, with the government support, I think the industry can grow bigger and bigger. Because of the epidemic, it actually hurt the industry so much. But after the epidemic, I believe that the industry will come back again. And like what Tristan had said, Hong Kong has talent, and we actually have to pick this talent out. Maybe they are players, maybe they are entrepreneurs. As what I've mentioned, mobile esports can be a very interesting future. Yes, in Hong Kong we have quite a number of good mobile esports game producers. We actually can help them to groom them so that they can make good quality games for Hong Kong and also some sort of esportify games so that they can organize their own tournaments. And I hope that in Hong Kong there will be a lot of tournaments, just like football, basketball. Many kids play football themselves. There are quite a number of leagues, and as what Eric has mentioned, Hong Kong needs professional league. So in next few years, I hope that the industry will organize their own professional leagues with ranking, with professional grading, something like that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. So how about Alwin? Yeah.
I think a lot has already been said. I'll add to what Terence said especially about mobile esports. Because I come from a mobile industry, right? And I love it because it's very accessible. Anyone can participate and become a hero. There are some cases where I've read about like Southeast Asia. That's kind of like my expertise. And where, for example, say the number one player in Indonesia, it's a mom. And she only plays when her kid is asleep. And she climbed the leaderboard rank until she's number one. And age is not a problem. Your job is not a problem. Another case in Malaysia, this lady, she plays PUBG Mobile.
Yes.
And she started streaming after she sent her kid to school. And then she started earning enough income that she no longer needs to rely on her husband's job only. She can help support the family, and then they have like 5 kids. So I think like we need something like this here in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And I certainly hope, and I see that it's going that direction. But I think it would be great if we can accelerate that somehow. And I think that's why we're here today.
Yeah, totally agree with you. And before we conclude, I saw that we have an eSport Jojo, right? Is Jojo going to ask any question? You want to ask some question?
Thanks so much for our speakers and also our MC Andrew and Jacqueline. I'm Jojo. We got a few questions from online. What is the current market share and profit in eSport in Hong Kong, but not in China or global? Any leading company get a great profit in this area in Hong Kong?
Yeah. Anyone of you? Or otherwise, maybe let me try to answer your question, because I don't have exact figure of Hong Kong eSport market, but as I remember in some of the news that I heard before, it is not too much right now in Hong Kong. If for each year, I think definitely less than 100 million, around 70 something 700 something thousand, like that, not too much, a million, I mean in terms of million, 70 something million in terms of Hong Kong dollars right now per year. Not too much right now for the revenue. But I think actually some of the eSport company in Hong Kong did really quite good job. I think some of that must have it, like CGA, that they are one of the biggest, I think, eSport company in Hong Kong. They organize more than hundreds of eSport events every year. year. I mean, at least in last year, but I don't know whether it's true or not in this year, but at least in last year. And they also have been successfully raised for their round A for, let me see, it should be 50 million Hong Kong dollars. Around, yeah. So I think that would be quite a successful story for just 3 young people and work together and really dedicated for the esport. And I suppose that would be more and more cases to come, especially by the nurturing of the Cyberport from the those company. They are not only organizing event, but also some doing some technology breakthrough. For, such as those AI technology and in esports as well. Even like Tristan, even like Alwin, their company are really doing great as well. So I think that we do have a lot of talented esport company, esport industry company in Hong Kong. They work in different value chain in the esport industry, right? So any add up? So, okay. Thank you, Raj. So I suppose that we have almost times. Or allow us to have one more question or two? Depends on Jojo.
One more question is a esport maybe seems just a short-term career for the gamers. How can it be sustained?
So they wonder whether it is a kind of short-term career or whether it is really a sustainable career. So, see, I think Tristan.
Actually, like a lot of gamers, they have been playing games for a very long time. So they are good at many games. So not just one game. So when we look at game developer, basically one game they have limited lifespan. So basically, a very good game, maybe you play it for the esport player, maybe they play a game for about 10 years. And then they move to another game. But actually, the game is evolving. Some of the esport drivers, they are testing real cars. They got scouted by a racing team, and then they end up racing in real life. So that is also a stepping stone for some of the career. And also some players, they end up become developer or maybe work inside the esport industry. So actually, there are a lot of possibilities for their career.
Okay, so thank you very much. I suppose that we have almost time. So, but anyway, I'm really glad to be the moderator tonight and share a lot of insight with all of you guys. And I think that we all hope the esports industry, especially in Hong Kong, will go better and better, and wish that it could be a kind of official sport supported by government in future as well. Okay, thank you very much, and let me pass the mic to the MC. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, four speakers. Can you please be seated? Thank you. May I take some time to invite everyone to fill in the feedback form, which you'll find in the QR code on the screen. And it would only take you 1 to 2 minutes. And our team will also share the web page link on the chat room box. We highly value your comments, and at the same time, we want to thank all the speakers tonight for sharing the experience and answering our questions regarding the development of esports.
As a token of appreciation for our speakers to make time for our short forum, we would like to present some souvenirs to them. At this important moment, may we ask someone to the stage known as the backbone of CityU MBA. He always knows how to push people to give their best performance and has been a huge motivator for us in organizing the forum.
Please help us to welcome Professor Chen on stage for presenting souvenirs to our guest speaker.
We would like to invite Mr. Terence Leung to the front. Thank you for your sharing tonight.
Can we invite Mr. Alwin Wong to the stage? Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we would like to invite Mr. Tristan Low to the stage. Thank you for sharing tonight.
Last but not least, we would like to invite Mr. Eric Yeung to the stage. Thank you, Eric, for your impressive sharing tonight and moderating our discussion.
And thank you, Professor Chen. Please be seated. We have actually, we would also like to invite representative from Red Spot Creative to take the certificate of appreciation as well. And for Professor Chen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We would also like to take this opportunity to thank MBA office for their great support. A big thank you to Professor Chen and our advisor, Dr. Thomas Tang, as well as to Stephanie and Circle Hyun. Everyone worked really hard to make this forum come together, even until deep in the night.
We hope our forum sheds some light on the topics of eSport development. Before we wrap up, we would like to thank Red Spot Creative again for sponsoring the technology behind our virtual assistant JoJo, and also a big thank you to our organizing committee.
And in the end, we would like to thank you online for joining us tonight. We hope that you found the topic as enjoyable as we did. Once again, I'm Andrew, your MC tonight.
And I'm Jacqueline.
We hope you have an insightful night.
And we hope to see you in the next forum. Thank you.
Thank you.